Hey you guys, welcome to Ultimate Road Trips, and this is episode 2 of our expedition to Goa. Today we're going to take a look at what we did one day before we were going to head back home. The madness was truly at its peak. We were headed to Palolem in South Goa. Palolem is a little under 100 kilometers from Siolim and has a reputation of being one of the best beaches in the world. Anyway, before you can actually begin, here is a quick question for you. A question that had the three of us nearly fighting to bits. Would you prefer riding around in Goa on a bike, or would you rather drive around in the comfort of your car? Leave us your answers right here down below in the comment section. Okay, so let's get back to business now. It's 10 AM now and we've left our villa at Siolim. We're all charged up and really excited about Palolem. But then we're equally hungry and desperately need something to get into our tummies.
These tough young guys with sinewy bodies.
We decide to make a halt at Palolem. 17 kilometers and 45 minutes later, we're at Villa Sol area.
There is a passionate fan.
The menu is pretty interesting actually. But we don't bother reading up too much. Mukul and myself went with a standard English breakfast. Atul obviously had to do something different, so he got himself some puri bhaji. The food got to us surprisingly quickly. Atul had made a wise decision. His puri bhaji was the first to get to our table, and I wasted no time taking the first bite out of his food. Our English breakfast got in a little after, and as you know, it was over in no time. After polishing off some nice tasting and even better looking breakfast, it was time to move on. We're 80 kilometers from Palolem beach and the drive is a little over 2 hours. We're soon out of Palolem. The one thing I like about driving through Goa roads is the fact that there's greenery on both sides, and also the fact that these roads are winding and really fun to drive on. I feel like a stuffed turkey ready to be served on Thanksgiving, but some people in the car made an effort to correct me. Just to be fair, I rephrase. I stuffed myself up like a pig at breakfast.
These tough young guys with their sinewy bodies.
10 minutes later, we were passing the Nerul Bridge. For all you Bombay folks, yes, there is also a Nerul in Goa and it's very different from the one that you know. I was driving and this was entertaining enough to keep me wide awake after all the food that had gone into me. Mukul was equally entertained and kept himself occupied by sticking his neck out of the window. He also made some really good footage possible for us. We've done 30 kilometers now and are crossing the Zuari River. Palolem is around 50 kilometers from here and the drive is around 1 hour and 40 minutes away. Like I said, Atul was in a different zone and he was in the pass out zone. We were zipping past this bridge and he was busy snoring away to glory. I kept looking into the dashcam now and then to look at the way that he'd passed out. It was just funny. It was difficult, but I had to keep my eyes on the road. We're almost out of North Goa now and we're crossing over to the central part of the state. Sometime later there was a crazy stretch of road once again and I was back into rally mode. Sadly, this wasn't a long stretch. We were halfway to Palolem now and we were crossing Madgaon. Palolem is 40 kilometers from here and around half an hour away. Not like I was anywhere close to as sleepy as some people in the car, but it was time to play passenger for some time. Mukul took over from me a little ahead of Margaon. It was more like I got tricked into giving up the driver's seat. We took a short break, and a little before I could get back into the car, I saw that he'd taken over. "20 minutes later, we've crossed central Goa and we're at the start of South Goa. Palolem is precisely 30 minutes and 20 kilometers away now. The stretch of road is brilliant. I was fuming with jealousy only because I wasn't the one driving. But what the fuck, I could focus on some crazy footage on this very epic stretch of road. Also, we'd covered 10 kilometers in 10 minutes. That should give you an idea of what we were doing. And this is pretty much what I would have done if I was driving as well, so no complaints here. We were now entering Palolem. I personally had mixed feelings here, majority of which were filled with nostalgia. The last time I was here was almost a decade back, and my memories of the last trip were flooding into my mind as we entered. Finally, we were here. I was letting the feeling sink in. We parked the car close to the beach and headed out. All of us had different priorities and wanted to do different things. Mukul wanted to partake in water sports, Atul hated the water and wanted to do anything but that. I wanted to check out the shack that I had stayed in here the last time that I was. But finally we were at the entrance of the beach and it was 2:30 in the afternoon. The sun was up and all our priorities were no longer a priority. The waves had a mystifying effect, and before we could realize anything, we were walking towards the water like a bunch of zombies. After all, we were in one of the best beaches in the world. For all of you who haven't been to Palolem, there are two things you should know about this place. One, Palolem is famous for its proximity to a few beach islands, and two, Palolem is equally famous because it is home to dolphins. As we are nearing the water, we realize that we're being followed by Mr. Ram. Mr. Ram now had the opportunity to sell us a unique experience. We had sealed the deal by now and had an hour at hand. Mr. Ram would call us once the boat was ready. And this is what he had to say.
Any one island. I show you 3 islands and one island is stop.
Whichever I decide is stop there, right?
Yeah.
So we set off in the direction of the shacks. There weren't too many of them. I think I stayed in that shack only ahead for 2-3 days. 2008. It was definitely not the one that I was talking about. I doubt the shack that I came to 10 years back even exists. Okay, it was time for some much needed chilled beer. We also took this opportunity to try and charge our devices. Beer and fries are what we're living for. But the view of the beach this afternoon from the shack was epic. We could have been here all day. An hour later, we got a call from Ram, the guy in the orange shirt I keep talking about. We quickly unplugged our gadgets, cleared the bill, and were on our way. We were excited and soon got to the point where we were told to meet him. We then followed him to the point where the boat was docked. Full credit to the branding elements that adorned the boat. Guys at FC Goa, I believe that you've got your money's worth. While all of this may be enough for them, it doesn't matter now if they win or lose this season. This wooden contraption wasn't exactly giving us a warm, fuzzy feeling to begin with. It's not like we were expecting a cruise liner, but then the 10 other people who were to get on this boat with us only added to our insecurities. We're the type of people who find it difficult to float in a 4 feet deep swimming pool, and getting on this boat was a hurdle that took a decent amount of balls to cross. We managed to get onto the boat somehow, and each man to his own now. Each of us made a dash for the bright orangish fluorescent life vest that we saw stacked up in the front of the boat. It did not matter if there were any left for the others. We had to have ours first. Atul insisted he would cling onto the pole even after the life vest was on. And while he was at it, he was scheming ways to procure another life vest as well. Anyway, all of us were in and on our seats, or whatever you call them. The engines had fired up by now, and in no time we were cutting through the waves and off in the direction of these multiple islands that we were to see. Ten minutes later, our fears were under control. This boat was a machine to be respected. The engine here reminded me of an RX-100 on full throttle, and the guys making this thing move clearly were very much in control. We were on the boat for half an hour now, and everything was normal in our heads by this time. It was really fun. The bluish-green waters and the sights of the islands at a distance were enchanting. We were busy making videos and cracking jokes for most of the part. At some point after, we heard someone say the magic word dolphin, and soon after the engines had gone silent, the boat was floating about. Suddenly the islands were no longer a priority for anyone on the boat. We continued coasting around aimlessly with 3 other boats. Either we were blind or there was no dolphin. So after 15 to 20 minutes of nothingness, we urged the guys manning the boat to now take us to the islands that were up ahead. Ten minutes later, we were approaching Butterfly Island, which is the most famous of them all. We did want to get on that beach, but apparently we had run into some tide-related issues, so it wouldn't be possible for us to halt there after all. We had to be content with a view of the beach from a distance, and very much from inside the boat that we were in. We did see some people who were at the island and foolishly waved out to them from the boat. We then headed back in the direction of the main Palolem beach. But much to our amusement, and as promised, we stopped off at an extension of the beach. Which couldn't have been accessed obviously by foot or road, and we got there. Once we got off the boat, the drone was out in a matter of seconds. What you're about to see now is pristine and made this entire boat trip a completely worth it experience. So what if we couldn't see dolphins? We'll go back home, YouTube them, or watch some on Discovery Channel. No regrets whatsoever. It was 5:30 now, and we were done with the boat ride. We're back to Palolem, and normally I would have called it a day. But then we had to do some touristy stuff, right? We're in Goa after all, and my homies had to buy some junk from the market. So we entered this clothes shop first, and I basically stood around making a video of Mukul buying stuff for his kid. I'm glad that this was a guys only trip. And we were out in 15 minutes. Primarily because we had something way more important to do. The Baskin Robbins next door was calling us, and we were there soon. I now normally know what I'm gonna have, and I really stick only to a couple of flavors that I like. Is that how it is with you guys as well? Okay, so if you've guessed this flavor right, one of you lucky guys will have something coming your way. Leave your answers down in the comment section. Now that we were done with the most important part of the day, which was ice cream time, we were headed back to Siolim. I've heard of November rains, but it was pouring like a bitch in October. We had to be really careful while driving back. This time it was me and Atul who did most of the driving, while Mukul had made a little bed for himself at the back of the car. Rains meant a significant delay in getting back, but then again we were in no hurry. We had only covered 1/4 the distance and Panji was still 40 kilometers away. Thankfully the rains had died down by now, but we had lightning and thunder to give us company. Rains in Goa are a different experience altogether, one that you don't want to forget. We were tired, but dinner was a must. Dinner was essential for us to complete this experience, so we decided that we'd stop at Colombo, which is obviously en route Siolim. I was tired too, and Atul finally had his shot at the wheel. Earlier on in the day, Mukul and myself had told him that he'd need to click at least 20 pictures from his camera if he was to get a chance to drive. Now he did that, he did click 20 pictures, but the height of his laziness is unparalleled. All these 20 pictures were from the same place and at the same time. Anyway, he only got to drive because we were tired as fuck. It was 9 PM by the time we got to Palolem. Palolem really looks beautiful and alive at this hour because of all the shops and restaurants being lit up. We crossed Palolem and we made it to Kalangut by 9:15. I can't quite remember the name of this place. All I know is that parking there was a nightmare. Nevertheless, I managed to park the car somehow in this restaurant. We got off and it was time for chicken dinner. Yes, I don't play PUBG, but then yeah, chicken dinner. I'm going to leave you guys with that image, the image of remains of what we had for dinner, basically. And so until next time around, this is me saying goodbye. Stay tuned guys and keep watching this space for more crazy stuff from Ultimate Road Trips. Do let me know if you liked what you saw. leave your comments down below in the comment section, and most importantly, do go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Take